Part 14. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 132. When Lin Feng walked into the bathroom, Cao Lin said, "Qing Yuan, look, Lin Feng urinated again. You are too sharp, you made him urinate twice in a row, don't let him urinate all the time, he urinated too many times, it's not good for you." Su Qingyuan snorted and said, "He wants to pee, what can I do? Am I going to find a rope to restrain him?" Cao Lin burst out laughing. But Su Qingyuan couldn't laugh, she leaned back on the sofa and rolled her eyes. The pain was really distressing. Lin Feng came out of the bathroom, and an unexpected scene appeared. Su Qingyuan stood up, bowed down and opened the rose-red suitcase. "Look at what this is. Wedding dress. Pink and white high-end wedding dress." The high-end and elegant wedding dress entrusts Su Qingyuan's happiness, but this wedding dress can only be packed in a suitcase to accompany her painful heart on a long journey, from Taiyuan in Jin Province to Shuiqing County. Su Qingyuan grabbed the wedding dress and compared it to her body, then spun it 3 times in front of Lin Feng, and sneered, "Does it fit well? I'm not afraid of your jokes, I bought it half a year ago, and it was Zhao Heidao's trigger who accompanied him. I bought it. When he bought a wedding dress with me, he said, 'After you marry me, I will make you the happiest woman in the world,' but what is it now? He does not marry me, but wants to marry a Shu. If the stinky woman in the province gets married, he deserves to die." In the heart of Su Qingyuan, a sad woman, Meng Suili is indeed a stinky woman. Her are stinky, her legs are stinky, and even the parts that the man yearns for the most are stinky. But Meng Suili doesn't actually stink. Although she doesn't have much education or money, her body is fair and delicate, and her skin smells like milk. Before Meng Suili was not pregnant and insisted on giving birth to the child, Zhao Heidao loved Meng Suili more than his love, he loved Su Qingyuan more, and never thought of marrying Meng Suili. But in this blurry situation, every time Zhao Heidao and Meng Suili do that, he always likes to chew on Meng Suili's body and say to her, "You are so delicious, I really want to eat you up." If Lin Feng had a hard platinum, he would have a braid on the spot. Fortunately, his heart has a strong ability to withstand it. But even here, he also had a feeling of blood gushing upwards, and after a while, his face turned red and his ears turned red. "Lin Feng, why didn't you say anything?" Are you saying that Zhao Heidao's trigger is sorry for me?" Su Qingyuan said coldly. Lin Feng almost shouted, "He's sorry for you, go find him, but Zhao Heidao is his buddy, he has to suffer what he deserves. If he rushes to Zhao Heidao's house with Su Qingyuan now, he will immediately make Zhao Heidao's house a mess. Zhao Heidao's parents may cry or faint when they see the real daughter-in-law coming. Zhao Heidao and Meng Suili will be extremely passive." Lin Feng couldn't let this happen. He sat on the sofa, lit a cigarette, and took 2 puffs. "Between you and Meng Suili, he will always feel sorry for one person." Su Qingyuan said, "Why is he the one who is sorry for me?" Lin Feng said, "Because you have better conditions than Meng Suili, you can live well without him, you can easily find a man who is much stronger than him, and you can go back after you marry a business elite or a son of a high-ranking official. It can happen if you think about it. Zhao Heidao is a trigger in the true sense, a man who is not worth your madness for him." Su Qingyuan's face was cold, and she had the heart to slap Lin Feng. She knew there was no reason to hit Lin Feng, but she really wanted to slap him. Su Qingyuan knew very well that as far as the relationship between Lin Feng and Zhao Heidao was concerned, it was impossible for Lin Feng to think that Zhao Heidao was the trigger. What she said just now was deliberately said to give her relief. When people are really sad, the more relieved someone is next to them, the more sad they may be. At this time, Su Qingyuan was in that state. She really wanted to break out like a raging fire, and let that anger burn down everyone and everything around her, but this is not Taiyuan in Jin Province, this is Shuiqing County, and this is Lin Feng's home. Cao Lin admires Lin Feng's adaptability. Lin Feng is a negotiator. Su Qingyuan finally put the wedding dress in the suitcase. It can be seen from her careful movements that she cherishes this wedding dress very much. The possibility of wearing this wedding dress and marrying Zhao Heidao is almost zero, but Su Qingyuan still pinned her happiness on this wedding dress. At this time, her fantasy and reality are blended together, and she can't tell which is real and which is illusory. It is like a candidate who already knows that he has lost the score and is still fantasizing that he has received an admission letter from a key university. Su Qingyuan said, "Lin Feng, I really want to slap you." Lin Feng said, "Fan me if you want, fan me hard." Su Qingyuan said, "You and Zhao Heidao are really good buddies, are you willing to be slapped for him?" Lin Feng said, "What is a slap in the face? I would be willing to be stabbed for him, and if he changed his position, he would also be willing to do it for me." Lin Feng had been slapped by Wang Xiaoqian for Zhao Heidao before, but he was a kung fu master at that time and did not fight back. And today, Su Qingyuan slapped him in the face with a fragrant slap. The slaps were two slaps. Blood was bleeding from the corners of Lin Feng's mouth, and his face was extremely painful. The slap that Wang Xiaoqian slapped back then was returned to Lin Feng, allowing Lin Feng to eat her tofu. Will the two slaps from Su Qingyuan's fan come back? This is hard to say. Even if Su Qingyuan is a top beauty and has a strong attraction to men, Lin Feng is unlikely to eat Su Qingyuan's tofu, because Su Qingyuan and Zhao Heidao had a fiery past. A friend's wife can't be bullied, and a friend's ex-girlfriend can't be bullied casually. This is Lin Feng's principle. After slapping Lin Feng twice, Su Qingyuan calmed down a lot. She was a little more polite than Wang Xiaoqian at the time, and whispered, "Lin Feng, I'm sorry, I know I shouldn't hit you, and I have no reason to hit you, but I can't stand it, I really can't stand it." Su Qingyuan jumped into Lin Feng's arms and cried again. Su Qingyuan is Zhao Heidao's ex-girlfriend. Even if her body is very graceful and plump, Lin Feng has no heart to eat her tofu at all. The warmth of the plump contoured skin and the intoxicating aroma brought Lin Feng all discomfort, but Su Qingyuan was very sad, and Lin Feng couldn't push her away. Cao Lin looked surprised. "I didn't expect that Miss Su jumped into Lin Feng's arms. It seemed that a sad woman could do anything." Cao Lin has been deliberately reserved since she accompanied Su Qingyuan to Shuiqing County. In fact, she is a very unrestrained girl. She almost said that Zhao Heidao wants to have a wedding with Meng Suili, so why don't you also have a wedding with Lin Feng? But this is obviously impossible. Su Qingyuan will not easily marry Lin Feng, and Lin Feng will not easily marry Su Qingyuan. Lin Feng has been fighting for money, but Lin Feng will not lose his principles for money. Su Qingyuan's red lips were almost touching Lin Feng's ears, but the air-like voice made Lin Feng panic. "Lin Feng, I beg you, please help me, let Zhao Heidao's bride be me, after this is done. I'll give you 10 million. 10 million? It sounds a bit scary in Lin Feng. His parents and him have never seen so much money before. If he really had 10 million, the first thing he had to do would be to buy a large house in Beijing with a size of more than 200 square meters, but he couldn't buy a very prime location, because this amount was not enough. But Lin Feng is very rational, and after a few seconds of fantasy at the critical moment, it quickly returns to reality. Lin Feng pushed Su Qingyuan away and said with a relieved smile, "You are a little fanciful, do you think I am Zhuge Yang? Where do I have such a brain, let alone you give me 10 million, even if you give me 100 million, I can't do it." Su Qingyuan said, "If you could do it, would you do it?" "I will give you as much as I promised to give you." Lin Feng said, "No, I will not cooperate with you to do things that go against my conscience for the sake of money. You trigger." Su Qingyuan raised her hand and wanted to slap Lin Feng again, but Lin Feng took the opportunity to grab Su Qingyuan's wrist, and said coldly, "You slapped me twice just now, so I'm fine with it, you can't go too far, otherwise I'll slap me. Throw it out. Su Qingyuan said, if you have the ability, you can throw me out, I'm just a poor bastard, it's better to sleep on the street. Lin Feng let go of Su Qingyuan's wrist and cast an anxious look at Cao Lin, as if saying to her, save me. The current situation is very serious. Unless Cao Lin cooperates with him, he will be tortured to death by Su Qingyuan. Cao Lin understood what Lin Feng meant, and deliberately said in a cold voice, Lin Feng, your kung fu is okay. Lin Feng said, it can only be said that it is okay. Cao Lin said, do you dare to say that you are a top expert? Lin Feng said, I dare not say it. Cao Lin said, do you dare to fight me? Lin Feng said, we have no injustice or enmity, there is no need to fight. Cao Lin said, I'll give you a chance to choose. If you win against me, you don't have to cooperate with Qingyuan. If you lose, I'm sorry, you must cooperate with her. Lin Feng deliberately seemed very anxious. He was already thankful to Cao Lin in his heart. He was afraid that Cao Lin would not cooperate with him, but he did not expect that Cao Lin would cooperate with him. Perhaps Cao Lin did this not for his own good, but to relieve Su Qingyuan, or to stop Su Qingyuan from doing ridiculous things. But Cao Lin's cooperation did help him, which made him very grateful. If there is still a chance to meet after this turmoil subsides, Lin Feng plans to invite Cao Lin to a big dinner and a movie, even if Cao Lin wants to spend his money on shopping. Question. The moment Su Qingyuan got up, she dragged Cao Lin aside and said anxiously, where did you sing? Zhao Heidao's stinky trigger once said that Lin Feng's kung fu is very high, and even he and Lin Feng have been friends for many years. No one in the audience knows how capable Lin Feng is, you have the confidence to defeat Lin Feng. Cao Lin said, Miss Su, in the entertainment city before, you forgot how I brought down 7 or 8 strong men. Su Qingyuan said, what if you lose? Cao Lin said that 90% of the time he won't be defeated. When I defeat Lin Feng, he will have to cooperate with you. Su Qingyuan was trying to do something that was almost impossible. Her mind was in a mess, so she could only follow Cao Lin's train of thought. Tomorrow morning, Lin Feng will play a super with Cao Lin at the foot of Baishan, which is where he helps the school flower Wang Xiaoqian clean up the hedgehogs. Invincible Dragon welcomes you again, remember us. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 133. Lin Feng's parents came back and were shocked when they learned that the 2 girls in the family were Su Qingyuan and Cao Lin. In the strong shock, Lin Tishan was still able to make a steady profit, but Lu Shuken's cold sweat soon broke out. Su Qingyuan actually came from Taiyuan, Jin Province to Shuiqing County, and there was no doubt that she came to destroy the wedding of Zhao Heidao and Meng Suili. Su Qingyuan is crazy. The daughter of the coal boss is really not easy to mess with. Even if Zhao Heidao and Meng Suili really get married, I am afraid she will suffer. Lin Tishan and Lu Shuken both saw what Lin Feng meant and wanted them to persuade Su Qingyuan not to do ridiculous things. But in this case, a big man Lin Tishan really didn't know what to say to Su Qingyuan, the sad woman he met for the first time. Only Lu Shuken came to persuade him. Daughter, can I chat with my aunt alone for a while? Lu Shuken's smile was very warm and her voice was very gentle. Su Qingyuan was stunned for a moment, then went to the bedroom with Lu Shuken and sat on the sofa against the wall. Su Qingyuan said, Aunt Lu, I came here and caused you trouble. I know you hate me very much. You want to persuade me, but I made Zhao Heidao's heart broken. No matter how you persuade me, I'm still a sad person. Lu Shuken said that what you just said was almost right, but there was something wrong. Aunt Lu didn't find you annoying at all, but thought you were a very good child. It was the first time Aunt Lu saw you, but she just saw you for the first time. I fell in love. You know what I was thinking? Su Qingyuan said, what? Lu Shuken said, I thought at the time, it would be great if I had a daughter as beautiful and temperamental as you. After I gave birth to Xiao Feng, my husband and I actually wanted a daughter, but we didn't get pregnant. Even if Su Qingyuan's mind was in a mess, she didn't want to be a daughter to Lu Shuken. She said with a relieved smile, it's enough for you to have Lin Feng as a son. Lin Feng is a good person and is very capable. In the future, the two elders will be happy. Of course, Lu Shuken didn't ask Su Qingyuan to be her goddaughter. She just said that to calm Su Qingyuan's heart. She added, I've come here. I have to advise you. Even if you hate Zhao Heidao and Meng Suili, you can't make trouble too much, otherwise not only will you not get what you want, but it will also ruin the beauty of the past. When you think about it again many years later, you will regret it until your bowels are green. Su Qingyuan is silent. Lu Shuken said, girl, have you ever regretted it before? Su Qingyuan remained silent. Sure enough, she was trying to persuade her. Although the girl Lu Shuken called out made her heart warm, she still didn't want to listen to Lu Shuken anymore. Su Qingyuan said, Aunt Lu, you don't need to waste your words. I know what I'm doing. Even if it's crazy, it's fine, because any crazy thing is done by humans. Lu Shuken's persuasion was fruitless, so she could only do this for the time being. She was very disappointed that Lin Feng's head could suddenly emerge and resolve the deadlock. It's almost midnight. Lin Tishan and Lu Shuken both fell asleep. When something like this happened, Su Qingyuan and Cao Lin came over. The two of them would definitely not be able to sleep. Kind of thing. Su Qingyuan and Cao Lin stayed in the room that Lin Feng arranged for them, which was the only spare bedroom in the house. In the past, if guests came to the house and needed to stay, they would stay in this room. There is a double bed, a table, and a very outdated small color TV. The big villa where Su Qingyuan usually lives is completely the existence of two worlds, one is the world of ordinary people, and the other is the world of the rich. Su Qingyuan was originally from the rich world, but she fell in love with Zhao Heidao, the handsome guy from the ordinary world. Then something unbelievable happened. Lin Feng was so depressed that he was staring at the document for almost an hour, and he didn't write a word. Thanks to the fact that he had saved the manuscript for a few days, now that something happened, it came in handy. I really want to chat with netizen Yang Chun Baixu about the difficulties he encountered. Maybe Yang Chun Baixu will think this is a fantasy, and maybe he will give him some advice. But this evening, the spring and the white snow still did not appear, maybe it was offline, maybe it was invisible. Su Qingyuan put on cotton light purple pajamas, and her graceful body lines became even more irritating. She asked lazily, what am I doing, Lin Feng? Qingyuan, don't go, it's so late, it's inappropriate for you to go to Lin Feng's room. Zhao Heidao doesn't want me for that trigger anymore, what am I afraid of? Besides, Lin Feng won't force me to see me. I'm afraid you will force me to see him. Cao Lin stuck out her tongue. Shut up, Su Qingyuan said coldly. The tongue that Cao Lin stuck out just now quickly retracted back into her mouth, and her red lips twisted for a moment without saying anything. Su Qingyuan really went out and knocked on the door of Lin Feng's room. Lin Feng's heart thumped. Except for Su Qingyuan, there would be no one else. Lin Feng walked over and opened the door. He saw Su Qingyuan in light purple pajamas and said with a smile, have you not slept yet? Su Qingyuan said, you're really joking. You thought I could fall asleep if I had a bed in a room. I'm so sad. I really want a man to put my arms around me to sleep. You and Zhao Heidao are iron buddies. He makes me sad. If you protect him like this, then you should put your arms around me and sleep. Very rude and intoxicated. Maybe Su Qingyuan would not say such wet words to other men easily, but she did say it to him. Lin Feng said, sleeping with a beautiful woman like you is very comfortable for any man, but I can't easily sleep with you. Su Qingyuan said, why? Afraid of taking responsibility, it's okay, you get on me, I will be grateful to you not only for not bothering you. Lin Feng said, you are not a person who is willing to fall, and neither am I. At the same time, Lin Feng also said in his heart, even if I wanted to use decadence to adjust my rationality, I would not choose you. Su Qingyuan's expression was very blurred, and she took 2 steps closer to Lin Feng, then opened her arms and rushed over. Although Su Qingyuan's open arms circled a large area, Lin Feng still avoided it. Under the influence of inertia, Su Qingyuan rushed forward a few steps and almost hit Lin Feng's bed. When she turned around, her long hair was messy and she walked towards Lin Feng again, but this time she didn't rush over. Su Qingyuan said that if we sleep for one night, maybe I will calm down a lot. Lin Feng said, if you really want to calm down, you can rely on perseverance, not on sleeping with me. I will definitely not sleep with you, go out. Su Qingyuan showed a charming smile to Lin Feng, and pinched her full chest with both hands, as if she was saying to Lin Feng, sleep with me, you will be very cool. But Lin Feng didn't even look at it. He was sitting on the sofa smoking a cigarette with a very indifferent expression, as if he could hit someone at any time. Su Qingyuan gave up the idea of sleeping with Lin Feng, walked in front of Lin Feng, her slender legs trembled, and said coldly, Zhao Heidao is a smelly trigger, and you are also a smelly trigger. Lin Feng's expression was still indifferent and there was no response. Su Qingyuan snorted again and left Lin Feng's room, returning to her and Cao Lin's room. Cao Lin has put on a flowing night dress, lying on the bed reading a car magazine brought from Taiyuan, Jin province. Her slender legs are folded together, most of them are exposed, which is quite annoying. Su Qingyuan's orientation is normal to the extreme, not only likes men, but also likes handsome and funny men. Handsome can be pleasing to the eye, wit can be leisurely. Although Zhao Heidao is not a person with a strong background, Zhao Heidao is very much her food, but what makes her heart bleed is that her food will soon be eaten by another woman who is completely incomparable to her. Su Qingyuan sat on the bed and sighed, Lin Feng doesn't sleep with me. I knew he wouldn't sleep with you, and you couldn't just sleep with him, Miss Ash. No matter what happens, you can't spoil yourself. You are a famous golden branch in Jin province. What's the use of golden branches and jade leaves? Isn't she defeated by Mengswili, the useless stinky woman? You think Mengswili has other advantages besides taking off her and letting Zhao Heidao mess with her? No. Cao Lin said these 2 words so cleanly and neatly to take care of Su Qingyuan's emotions, but she also knew that when she heard her words without 2 words, Su Qingyuan's heart would become more and more unbalanced. Lying beside Cao Lin, Su Qingyuan stared at the ceiling for a moment, and said something that scared Cao Lin, even if I didn't sleep with Lin Feng, I can tell Zhao Heidao that I slept with Lin Feng, and Lin Feng made me very uncomfortable. Comfortable? Cao Lin stunned and said, Qingyuan, are you crazy? Su Qingyuan smiled in confusion, closed her eyes slightly, and looked like she was going to sleep. Morning. Lu Shuken made a very hearty breakfast. After eating breakfast with Su Qingyuan and Cao Lin, Lin Tishan and Lu Shuken fled and went to the vegetable store. The 2 of them estimated that Zhao Heidao would meet Su Qingyuan today, and they didn't know what would happen then, but they had said what they should say as old people, and they couldn't help other things. Lin Feng and Su Qingyuan and Cao Lin went to the foot of Baishan together. Facing the withered Baishan, Su Qingyuan breathed a sigh of relief. Shuiqing County is too close to the mountain. Lin Feng said, it is very close. Su Qingyuan said, or that Zhao Heidao and you are both scumbags. Lin Feng said, it is a bumpkin, but a bumpkin can also make a smooth future. It is a high-speed asphalt road that can lead to a long distance. Su Qingyuan said, it's time for you and Cao Lin to fight. If you lose to Cao Lin, you must cooperate with me and let Zhao Heidao's bride become me. Lin Feng said, no problem. The battle is drawn. At the same time, Cao Lin's feeling also came. I don't know how Lin Feng's kung fu is. If Lin Feng is not her opponent, she will have to let Lin Feng, even if she is embarrassed in front of Su Qingyuan, she will never win. Cao Lin snorted, and the moment she rushed forward, a whip kick towards Lin Feng's waist. The moment Lin Feng dodged, she slapped Cao Lin's leg, and then punched Cao Lin in the stomach. Cao Lin actually failed to avoid Lin Feng's understatement punch. She was punched in the stomach. It was painful enough, but she didn't cry out. Good boy, you shot really fast, even though you used your strength just now, you still hurt me, see if I don't come back. Cao Lin kicked Lin Feng with 2 leg sweeps again. If it was a person with average kung fu, I would have caused Cao Lin to kick it to the ground, but Lin Feng easily avoided Cao Lin's leg sweep and kicked out at Cao Lin. Kicked the shoulder. Cao Lin dodged, but when she kicked her legs again, she let Lin Feng's sweeping legs fall to the ground. When she got up to fight again, she was quickly kicked to the ground by Lin Feng. After falling to the ground 3 times in a row, Cao Lin fell to the ground sideways, gasping for breath, and said helplessly, Qingyuan, I'm not Lin Feng's opponent. Invincible Dragon welcomes you again, remember us. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 134. Su Qingyuan's heart was completely depressed, she didn't say anything, and walked away quickly. Lin Feng walked over, pulled Cao Lin up, and said with a smile, I didn't hurt you just now, did you? Cao Lin said, your kid's kung fu is really high, your fists and your legs are so clean and neat, although you have left me sympathy, but my stomach and arms are injured, but it's nothing, I don't care. So squeamish. Cao Lin Fei has been pondering over Lin Feng's kung fu, what if Lin Feng's kung fu is used to the extreme? Seeing that Su Qingyuan had walked more than 20 meters, Lin Feng and Cao Lin hurriedly followed, and then walked forward 30 meters, Su Qingyuan's footsteps slowed down, looked at Lin Feng's face coldly and said, you might as well call Zhao Heidao called to Baishan, I want to see him, what I have to say is what I have to say after all. Sooner or later, we have to meet, and only after we meet can we talk about some key issues. Meeting in Baishan in the cold wind should be more enjoyable than meeting at his home. Now the relationship between Zhao Heidao and Su Qingyuan is the most important thing. A bleak vibe? If Su Qingyuan's heart towards Zhao Heidao is cold, then there will be no trouble, but Su Qingyuan's body may be cold, and her heart will not be cold easily. When receiving Lin Feng's call, Zhao Heidao and Meng Suili were cuddling on the TV, and at the same time, they were also imagining what the wedding would be like. There were many things that made them depressed, but they would put it down for the time being. Zhao Heidao said, Lin Feng, what are you playing? If you have nothing to do, come and play at my house. Should you, the best man, find feelings by my side? Lin Feng said that Su Qingyuan was here. Zhao Heidao was very surprised, his heartbeat suddenly became much faster than before, his face was a little unrighteous, and vibrato said, really? Lin Feng said, do you think I'm full enough to make fun of you about this kind of thing? We are at the foot of Baishan, come here, she wants to see you, if possible, don't let Meng Suili follow. It makes sense that Lin Feng didn't want Meng Suili to follow Zhao Heidao. An angry Su Qingyuan would kick Meng Suili's stomach unexpectedly. If Su Qingyuan's slender legs kicked Meng Suili's stomach, the consequences would be disastrous. Zhao Heidao didn't want Meng Suili to go with her, but Meng Suili insisted on going. Seeing that Zhao Heidao really didn't want to take her, she said coldly, if you really want to marry me, then take me with you. Zhao Heidao had no choice but to ask Meng Suili to follow. When they reached the foot of Baishan, Su Qingyuan turned her back to them and looked at Baishan with blurred eyes. In this season, Baishan is depressed, and Su Qingyuan's heart is depressed. Although there are no snowflakes floating around, Su Qingyuan's heart is full of snowflakes. Qingyuan, since you're here, say something. Hearing Zhao Heidao's familiar voice, Su Qingyuan turned her head abruptly, rushed over and slapped Zhao Heidao twice, only to hear a slap, and blood dripped from the corner of Zhao Heidao's mouth. Su Qingyuan is very experienced in slapping people. She must have slapped others before. Meng Suili was very distressed when she saw that Zhao Heidao was slapped by Su Qingyuan, but she did not protect Zhao Heidao at this special moment, otherwise it would only intensify the conflict. Su Qingyuan said, "I'm here to bless you and the stinky woman's wedding. She is nothing but a stinky woman who seduces you to do that, but you are blind, so just look at her. Except for blessings besides you, I want to do something else." Zhao Heidao said, "What else do you want to do?" Su Qingyuan said, "Be your wife Meng Suili as a bridesmaid." There was a thunderstorm in Zhao Heidao's head. If Su Qingyuan was the bridesmaid, what would his wedding look like? Meng Suili said, "Su Qingyuan, I don't need you to be my bridesmaid. You call me a stinky woman and a shameless scumbag. I put up with it, but you can't make trouble at my wedding with Heidao." Su Qingyuan's face was very cold. Seeing her glance at Su Qingyuan's belly, Lin Feng quickly leaned over. If Su Qingyuan suddenly attacked Meng Suili's belly, he would immediately intercept her. Only Lin Feng's shooting speed can be foolproof to deal with emergencies. Zhao Heidao's speed is definitely not enough. Su Qingyuan sneered and said, "Meng Suili, come here, I want to say a word to you alone." Meng Suili thought about it, and she was about to walk aside with Su Qingyuan. Zhao Heidao said, "Su Qingyuan, don't mess around. If you dare to hurt Meng Suili, I will do my best with you." Su Qingyuan turned her head and sneered, "Why didn't you tell me to work hard with me when you were in love with me before? Don't worry, I won't hurt her body, I just want to say something to her." Walking a few meters away, Su Qingyuan said into Meng Suili's ear, "If you, a shameless woman, don't let me be your bridesmaid, I will make Zhao Heidao disappear within a month of your marriage." Meng Suili was very scared. With Su Qingyuan's network and means, she believed that if Su Qingyuan wanted Zhao Heidao to disappear within a month of marriage, she would definitely be able to do it. The anger will burn in Su Qingyuan's heart for a long time. If she really does that, Zhao Heidao's life may be gone, and then the family she just formed will also be gone. Meng Suili said, "Su Qingyuan, I promised you to be my bridesmaid, but I beg you, let Heidao go. Marrying me is his choice, I have never forced him, I even told him that Su Qingyuan is more suitable for you than me. I can raise my own children, but he insists on marrying me." Su Qingyuan said, "If you choose to leave at this time, and how much you want, you can ask for a price." Meng Suili's tears flowed out. "It's about to be my wedding with Heidao. I love him. I love him as much as you do. I won't leave unless I die." Su Qingyuan said, "Your words are inconsistent, you are really hypocritical, you shameless stinky woman." Meng Suili said, "No contradiction, I didn't think about letting him marry me before, but now I can marry him immediately, and I won't leave." Su Qingyuan smiled coldly, and walked in the direction of Lin Feng and Zhao Heidao. Meng Suili walked over quickly, her tears stopped, but there were still tears in her eyes. She said, "Heidao, let Su Qingyuan get married when she got married. Be my bridesmaid, she's very beautiful." Zhao Heidao's eyes were very anxious. He didn't know what Su Qingyuan said to Meng Suili, but it had such an effect. It was nothing more than a threat, but it was hard to guess what it was. "It's time to leave Baishan," Su Qingyuan sneered, "Heidao, come here too, I have something to say to you." Zhao Heidao and Su Qingyuan walked a few meters away. Zhao Heidao said helplessly, "Qingyuan, I really didn't expect you to come from Taiyuan, Jin province to Shuiqing County. When you were in love, You were 100% good to me, but I 100% good for you too. Stinky Trigger, shut up. If you're 100% good to me, why did you do that with that stinky woman Meng Swili and make her belly bigger? Su Qingyuan asked. Zhao Heidao was immediately speechless. He couldn't say at this time, my body betrayed you, but my heart didn't betray you at that time, otherwise Su Qingyuan would just slap him frantically and let him. My face is still swollen by the time of the wedding. You have nothing to say, you stinky trigger. Let me tell you, you are not the only one who sleeps with other women, I also sleep with other men. Just last night, I slept with Lin Feng. At first he seduced him, and then he took the initiative. He and I had a lively relationship for more than an hour. I was very comfortable, and he was very comfortable. I have to tell you that Lin Feng has a very good figure, very developed muscles, and a red birthmark on his ass. Very confident. If Su Qingyuan simply said that she and Lin Feng slept, Zhao Heidao would not believe it, but if Su Qingyuan said that Lin Feng had a red birthmark on her butt, Zhao Heidao believed it was true. If she hadn't seen Lin Feng's body, Su Qingyuan would not have known that there was a birthmark on Lin Feng's buttocks. Zhao Heidao and Lin Feng had bathed together many times before, and knew that Lin Feng's buttocks indeed had a birthmark the size of 2 fingernails. The regular circle, Lin Feng used to joke to him that my birthmark is a coin, which indicates that I will be rich in my life, because no matter where I sit, brother, there is money under my butt. Zhao Heidao's heart was very painful, and he even hated Lin Feng. Even if he and Su Qingyuan had broken up, he felt that Lin Feng couldn't take advantage of the danger of others to give Su Qingyuan a favor. Even if Su Qingyuan seduced him, she shouldn't be attracted to her. Su Qingyuan is very beautiful. If she displayed the power of seduction, it is estimated that Lin Feng could not control her at that time. Lin Feng didn't go to Su Qingyuan at all, and he didn't hear what Su Qingyuan said to Zhao Heidao just now. But Su Qingyuan did see the birthmark on Lin Feng's butt. It was when Lin Feng was taking a shower. When she arrived at Lin Feng's house, Su Qingyuan put a pinhole camera in an inconspicuous corner of the bathroom and passed her computer that you carry at all times. Su Qingyuan not only saw the birthmark on Lin Feng's buttocks, but also saw the whole process of Lin Feng taking a bath. As for Lin Feng's proud thing, she also saw it really and felt that it was much bigger than Zhao Heidao's. Zhao Heidao is very painful. Even if he is not Lin Feng's opponent, he still has the heart to fight with Lin Feng, but not now. It's already messy enough. If he and Lin Feng get into a fight, it will be even more messy. If they don't get married, they won't be able to get married. Zhao Heidao's hand fell Lin Feng's shoulder, gritted his teeth and said, "You are really my good brother." Lin Feng didn't know what was going on at all. He said in his heart, "Even if I am your brother, you don't need to grit your teeth, right?" The wedding of Zhao Heidao and Meng Swili was held as scheduled in a nice hotel in Shuiqing County. Although the time was a little short, the relatives and friends who should be notified were all notified, and many people came. The wedding car was found by Wang Xiaoqian. According to what Lin Feng told her at the time, the wedding car was a Mercedes-Benz 600. There were also 2 BMW 7 Series and 3 Autos. Lin Feng, the best man, and Su Qingyuan, the bridesmaid, played well. Su Qingyuan didn't take the opportunity to get angry at the wedding, which surprised Zhao Heidao's family and Lin Feng's family. Although Meng Swili was pregnant, the month was not big, and her belly was not very protruding, so she did not let the people who came to the wedding point fingers. When relatives and friends asked Zhao Heidao's parents Meng Swili's education at the wine table, they said to be an undergraduate graduate from Sichuan Jiaotong University, very smart and capable. Those relatives and friends didn't know about Meng Swili. They could only listen to what Zhao Heidao's parents said. If they knew that Meng Swili didn't go to college, they would probably have a lot of criticism. Invincible Dragon welcomes you again, remember us. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 135. The wedding is over. Meng Suili became Zhao Heidao's wife, and Su Qingyuan, who had been addicted to bridesmaids, was lonely, bitter and angry, but there was one thing that comforted her very much, that is, Zhao Heidao now mistakenly thinks she slept with Lin Feng. Night. Tonight is Zhao Heidao and Meng Suili's wedding candle. Although they have done it many times before, and Meng Suili is pregnant, they still plan to do it in a leisurely manner tonight. Su Qingyuan and Cao Lin still live at Lin Feng's house, and they will return to Taiyuan, Jin province tomorrow. Lin Tishan and Lu Shukan didn't know what to talk about with Su Qingyuan. They went back to the bedroom before 10 o'clock. They were lying in bed talking about Zhao Heidao's wedding. Girlfriends for many years have no taste of rivals. Lin Tishan said that the reason why Su Qingyuan performed so well was because she was a very simple woman, not only popular, but also black-bellied. When Zhao Heidao suffered in the future, Zhao Heidao married Meng Suili, which was also the beginning of his suffering. Lu Shukan is not the kind of woman who is good at taking revenge on men. She has never encountered such a thing before. She has seen it on TV, but there are elements of performance. In real life, she can't imagine what Su Qingyuan will do. Lu Shukan said, I think Su Qingyuan is a good child. Maybe after she gets angry, she will be relieved after a while. The big deal is to be strangers to Zhao Heidao. Lin Feng accompanied Su Qingyuan and Cao Lin on TV. Su Qingyuan hated Lin Feng because she hated Zhao Heidao. She admired Lin Feng's kung fu, but hated him. Seeing Lin Feng smoking one by one, Su Qingyuan's hand slammed into his thigh. Lin Feng said with a smile, what are you doing by beating me so hard? Miss Su, you are a golden branch and a jade leaf, and you are someone who has seen big scenes. For you, that is the flaming Shan-ai that cannot survive. Even if Zhao Heidao and Meng Suili get married, so what? They are not living like ordinary people. If Meng Suili suddenly wanted a Louis Vuitton bag, Zhao Heidao would have to weigh it. If Zhao Heidao said to Meng Suili, wife, give me an Omega Deville watch, Meng Suili may say in pain, husband, please forgive me well, where do I have so much money to buy Swiss watches for you? Lin Feng thought that he played well just now, and wanted Su Qingyuan to laugh, but Su Qingyuan's face was even colder than before. You smelly trigger, stop talking, I gave Zhao Heidao a Rolex and a Vacheron Constantine before. Lin Feng even had the heart to slap himself twice. He found that his face was a slap in the face. He had nothing to say, but sitting next to Su Qingyuan, he just had to talk to her and think of a way for Miss Su. Fire down. After midnight, Su Qingyuan and Cao Lin finally returned to their room, and Lin Feng also returned to his room. Lin Feng felt a sense of relief. After Su Qingyuan and Cao Lin returned to Taiyuan, Jin province tomorrow, he should also consider leaving for Beijing. There are a few people waiting for him over there. Those people are all related to his future. Even if no one is waiting for him, he can wait for himself. Lying on the bed, Cao Lin grabbed Su Qingyuan's hand and said, Qingyuan, I know you're wronged, just cry if you want. Su Qingyuan hummed and said, I don't cry, I have shed a lot of tears for Zhao Heidao's stinky trigger, and I guess there are several bowls. Even if I cry in the future, it will be Zhao Heidao's stinky trigger. I will not cry casually. Su Qingyuan said cruel words, but there were tears in her eyes. Don't cry. If Su Qingyuan started crying again, Cao Lin would be even more confused. Cao Lin wondered, Qingyuan, what did you say to Meng Suili and Zhao Heidao when you were at the foot of Baishan? Su Qingyuan almost told Cao Lin what she said to Meng Suili and Zhao Heidao, but after thinking about it, she couldn't say. If Cao Lin knew about it, maybe Zhao Heidao and Lin Feng would know too. Su Qingyuan's red lips twisted and said, didn't you say anything? Cao Lin said, keep it a secret from me. Su Qingyuan said, it's not a secret, I didn't say anything at all. If what was said was not very special, it would definitely not have an immediate effect at such a critical moment, and it would be impossible to ask, so Cao Lin would not ask. Zhao Haidao and Meng Suili in the bridal chamber have already done it once. The pregnant Meng Suili got the pleasure of this special moment. She hugged Zhao Haidao and kissed his chest for a moment, saying, "Maybe later you will feel that marrying I'm the stupidest thing you've ever done." Zhao Haidao said that many people think I'm stupid enough, but since I made it myself, I don't regret it. Meng Suili said, "If you don't marry Su Qingyuan, you will lose a lot after all, she is worth more than 1 billion yuan and is very relevant in Jin province. Marrying her means prosperity to you, which is something that many men dream of." Zhao Haidao said, "It doesn't matter, we can live a life of firewood, rice, oil, and salt in peace from now on. I'm still a bit capable, and I won't let you live too desolately." Meng Suili said, "Do you know what I thought when I faced Su Qingyuan at the foot of Baishan Mountain?" Zhao Haidao said, "What?" Meng Suili said, "I thought at the time, if you suddenly regret it and want to marry Su Qingyuan, I will give her the position of the bride." Zhao Haidao shouted, "You're so stupid." She squeezed Meng Suili's thigh, and Meng Suili screamed, "You hammer, don't twist my thigh so hard, it hurts." Su Qingyuan and Cao Lin left Shuiqing County and went back to Taiyuan, Jin Province. Lin Feng and Su Qingyuan both had each other's contact information and chat numbers. Lin Feng doesn't want to have too much contact with Su Qingyuan, because Su Qingyuan is Zhao Haidao's ex-girlfriend. Even if she is worth over 1 billion, Lin Feng has no intention of making a fortune from Su Qingyuan. But Cao Lin, this girl, made Lin Feng feel very connected, because Cao Lin is very forthright and righteous. If Cao Lin did not cooperate with him hard the other day, he would not know what kind of grief he would be in. But Cao Lin didn't give him his mobile phone number or chat number. Before leaving, she just told him very sternly, "And there will be a future date. Any emotion may be cut off by time and space." For Cao Lin, Lin Feng's heart is very hot. He doesn't want to develop Cao Lin into a girlfriend, just a good friend. But it may not be long before Cao Lin may forget him in her heart. Even if she mentions him occasionally, it is a feeling so light that there is no water in her heart. Lin Feng's cell phone rang, and it was Dainan who called from Beijing. From the time he returned home for Chinese New Year to now, Dainan has become the one who called him the most among the people he knew in Beijing, followed by Li Xingguo and Meng Yun. 1. Lin Feng said, "I will be in Beijing tomorrow." Dainan said, "You are finally coming. You have been home for a long time this time. I thought you didn't want to come considering the pressure of life in Beijing." Lin Feng said, "I didn't say before that I want to attend the wedding of an iron buddy. Now that I have even been the best man, I can set off for Beijing." Dainan said, "It's great, then I'll wait for you to come. I won't talk for now. I'll have a good chat when you come." Dainan actually wanted to ask Lin Feng if he had thought about the partnership business, but considering that he had already asked several times a few days ago, he did not ask again, but he was always thinking about it. Tomorrow is going to go to Beijing. Today, Lin Feng plans to take a good look around the county town. First, I went to Zinken, which looks very fashionable, but in fact, the spending power is very limited. I soon went to Giliu Street and wanted to chat with Wang Xiaoqian for a while. When I arrived at Jian Limashu City, I saw Wang Xiaoqian busy with a few female shopping guides. Today's business seems to be is very good. Seeing Lin Feng coming, Wang Xiaoqian's face flashed a strange brilliance. She said with a smile, "Wait for a while, I'm busy here." A female shopping guide looked at Wang Xiaoqian's face ambiguously and said, "Boss, your good looks are here, go sweet, just have us here." Wang Xiaoqian said angrily, "I warn you, he is not my friend, just an ordinary friend. You are the one who owes it. If you talk nonsense, I will screw your mouth." Lin Feng sat in the isolated room of the Shu City and smoked. After more than 10 minutes, Wang Xiaoqian pushed open the door and walked in. The high leather boots stepped on the floor and made a rhythmic sound. The queen is approaching. Lin Feng's body is very impulsive. After staying at home for so long, Lin Feng had never been with a woman during this period, and he was already a little flustered. Seeing Wang Xiaoqian's body shaking in front of him, Lin Feng said, "You seduce me again," and then dragged Wang Xiaoqian into his arms. Wang Xiaoqian's round buttocks sat Lin Feng's lap, smiled charmingly. "Lin Feng, my junior high school classmate, my good friend, do you want to take me to Beijing?" Lin Feng was startled, his body trembled, and said with a smile, "Xiaoqian, don't make such international jokes with me. Even if you come to Beijing with me, I will code, don't you also code?" Wang Xiaoqian said, "Don't you have friends in Beijing? Ask them to help me introduce a job." Lin Feng said, "I'm afraid there is no job suitable for you, a crazy girl, you are only suitable for being your own boss." Wang Xiaoqian said, "Didn't you say it? I'm not as crazy as I used to be. Maybe I can do the job of serving dishes in a fancy hotel. I'm so beautiful. I can make the business of that hotel boom." Lin Feng said, "You are not as crazy as before, but you are still more crazy than many people. You should stay in the county town and be your Shu City boss. If you go to Beijing in the future, I will invite you to dinner." Wang Xiaoqian said, "Just invite me to dinner?" Lin Feng said, "What else do you want me to ask for?" Wang Xiaoqian said that since food is included, let's also include accommodation. Lin Feng laughed, and Wang Xiaoqian also laughed. Lin Feng heard it after talking about it just now. Wang Xiaoqian had no intention of going to Beijing with him for development. He was just joking. But it is very possible for Wang Xiaoqian to go to Beijing in the future. She used to go to Beijing often. Qianlima Shu City doesn't take goods from Beijing, but only from Begu and Guangzhou, so if Wang Xiaoqian arrives in Beijing, it's just to play, have a crazy meal and then come back and continue to be the owner of the Shu City. Invincible Dragon welcomes you again, remember us. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 136. Someone knocked on the door. Wang Xiaoqian sat on Lin Feng's lap, her round buttocks felt Lin Feng's tall and straight, she was already feeling the wet scene, and she was in a good mood. When she heard the knock on the door, she was very annoyed. When she opened the door and saw that it was the hedgehog who wanted her to push her head into the world, Wang Xiaoqian sneered, "Why are you here again? I don't welcome you here, hurry up or break your legs." In front of Wang Xiaoqian, Hedgehog was not as crazy as before, and said with a smile, "Sister Wang, don't be angry and don't misunderstand. I brought a few friends to buy shoes, and I want you to give me a preferential price." If the business really came to the door, Wang Xiaoqian would naturally be very happy. Looking back at Lin Feng immediately understood what Wang Xiaoqian meant and went out with her. The 8 people brought by Hedgehog were already choosing shoes. Hedgehog wanted to buy a pair, but he didn't rush to choose shoes, but kept dawdling by Lin Feng's side. Lin Feng gave Hedgehog a cold look and reminded him with his eyes that if he dawdled in front of Laozi again, he would kick you away with one kick. Hedgehog said with a smile, "Brother Lin, accept me as an apprentice and teach me Kung Fu. When I become famous, you, a master, can follow me." Hearing a bang, Lin Feng kicked the hedgehog's stomach the moment he lifted his leg, and the hedgehog flew to the ground with a scream. Lin Feng's foot didn't use much strength, but it was already very heavy for a hedgehog. After falling to the ground, the hedgehog's face was pale, and it took a long time to calm down while covering his stomach before he had the strength to stand up. When Hedgehog went to see Lin Feng again, he panicked even more, and soon went to choose shoes. He lost his heart to be Lin Feng's apprentice. The moment Lin Feng kicked the hedgehog, Wang Xiaoqian glanced at him and told him with eyes and a smile, "You are awesome, you are fierce, I admire you so much." Hedgehog and the 8 people he brought over each bought a pair of leather shoes. The price ranged from 300 to 500 yuan. Wang Xiaoqian gave them a 30% discount, but they still made a lot of money. The hedgehog took the people away, and several female shopping guides in the shoe city left. One of the female shopping guides who had a bad mouth bent over with laughter, her stomach hurt, and she was still talking, "Ahaha, I laughed so hard." Lin Feng felt that this female shopping guide was very hot, but he didn't take this female shopping guide stunned. It was almost time for lunch. Lin Feng and Wang Xiaoqian walked out of the shoe city together, and they agreed to go to the restaurant to eat, but when they got in the car, Wang Xiaoqian changed his mind, his eyes flashed at Lin Feng, and smiled, "I will cook for you myself." Lin Feng said, "Go to your house." Wang Xiaoqian said, "If you think it is appropriate to go to your house, then I will go to your house with you." Lin Feng said, "Let's go to your house." Wang Xiaoqian said, "Are you afraid that your parents will think you don't study well when they see you with me?" Lin Feng said, "That's not true, I just think it's better to go to your house." But Wang Xiaoqian still believes that this is what Lin Feng has. Wang Xiaoqian also knows that in the hearts of Lin Feng's parents, the impression of her being a bad girl is relatively deep-rooted. Wang Xiaoqian's home is here. This time I came here to be more familiar than before, and Lin Feng sat on the sofa casually. Wang Xiaoqian brewed the tea and brought the tea with graceful steps, her eyes flickered and released a hot electric wave. "Lin Feng, I feel more and more that you are a capable and graceful man. When you were in junior high school, I didn't find you so attractive." Lin Feng said, "What if you found out at that time?" Wang Xiaoqian said, "I don't know." Lin Feng did not continue to ask questions, otherwise it would make Wang Xiaoqian very embarrassed. It has been many years in the past. Who knows what it would have been like back then if the scene changed. After marrying Zhang Jian, Wang Xiaoqian and Zhang Por couldn't go crazy all the time, they had to live, at least they had to eat, so when they were at home, Wang Xiaoqian also had a hard-working side. The dishes made are not delicious, but there is no problem in filling the stomach. Zhang Jian does not have high requirements for the quality of the food. Every time he eats the dishes made by Wang Xiaoqian, he will praise a few words and talk about it at the same time. After you get a big name, there should be villas in the surrounding big cities. Each villa needs to get a few Filipino maids to go there. If you have time, you can live there. Wang Xiaoqian was cooking, and Lin Feng was sitting in the living room watching TV. At this time, he thought that when Shang Yunjuan, the charming landlady, was cooking in Beijing, he might run to the kitchen and put Shang Yunjuan on the stove. Leng Deng. The blue flame was beating, and his and Shang Yunjuan's body was beating as well, and he was stunned to be wet and excited. Lin Feng couldn't help but stood up and walked towards the kitchen. At this time, it was not Shang Yunjuan in the kitchen, but Wang Xiaoqian. Lin Feng also didn't know if he could be stunned. Seeing Lin Feng come in, Wang Xiaoqian smiled brightly and asked him if he was hungry. Lin Feng shook his head and then hugged Wang Xiaoqian from behind. Wang Xiaoqian felt Lin Feng's heat and uprightness, and said nervously, "I know what you want to do, but I haven't made up my mind yet." Lin Feng hugged Wang Xiaoqian even tighter, and kneaded her chest fiercely. Wang Xiaoqian felt pain, but she didn't complain, but said in a trill, "I really haven't made up my mind." Mad Queen Xiaoqian's voice started to tremble. Lin Feng planned to let her go, and after letting go, walked out of the kitchen. Wang Xiaoqian grabbed the frying pan with one hand and rested on the gas stove with the other hand. After a long breath, she was able to calm down and continue cooking. Lin Feng and Wang Xiaoqian ate together, and they drank Wulianjai, which Wang Xiaoqian had brought from his parents. When Lin Feng and Wang Xiaoqian were together, they rarely imagined the future, and recalling the past was a major topic. After 2 cups, Wang Xiaoqian looked at Lin Feng's face again and said with a smile, "Actually, I am a girl with great potential in learning. The reason why my grades were not good in junior high school was because I didn't work hard. At that time, I always felt sitting down. It's a shame to listen to the teacher's lectures honestly in the classroom. Only timid and good children can do that. I'm not good if I'm timid, so I can't concentrate on listening to the lecture." Lin Feng said, "I know you are very smart. If you studied hard then, you would definitely be in the top 10 of your grade." Wang Xiaoqian said, "It should be the top 3 in the grade." Lin Feng said that it is possible to be the first in the grade. Wang Xiaoqian smiled. She was very grateful at this moment, because what Lin Feng said just now made her heart very happy. With an ecstatic smile accompanied by sad tears, Wang Xiaoqian excitedly said, "There is such a situation, if I am crazy, and I can still take the first grade in the exam, isn't it cool?" Lin Feng said, "Hyun is home." Wang Xiaoqian burst into tears. She put the chopsticks on the dining table, her plump body stood upright, and she cried. Wang Xiaoqian quickly jumped into Lin Feng's arms, beat him the back, and choked, "Lin Feng, cast a spell, let everything in the past come back, I want to re-enter junior high school, I want to study hard, I think get to know you again." Hearing Wang Xiaoqian say that he wanted to re-read junior high school, to study hard, and to get to know him again, Lin Feng could no longer hold back his tears, and he cried too. The secret love in the past is always a secret love. The mad woman of the past will always be a mad woman. The pain of the past is always the pain. Because everything in the past can't be repeated, so he cried. About half an hour later, Lin Feng and Wang Xiaoqian were both riding a little. Wang Xiaoqian quickly wiped away her tears, and smiled awkwardly, "Really, what's wrong with me? I can't make you happy if I invite you to eat at home. It's cold, I'm going to warm it up." Lin Feng said, "Don't need to heat, just eat." Wang Xiaoqian said, "Then continue to eat." During the meal together this time, Lin Feng really felt that Wang Xiaoqian really regretted it. Because he was dissatisfied with the status quo, he regretted it. For her, the more she regretted it, the more painful, pitiful, and helpless she was. After dinner, Lin Feng sat on the sofa and lit a cigarette. Wang Xiaoqian packed up the tableware and sat beside Lin Feng, leaned on his shoulder, and hummed, "Lin Feng, don't think I regret it, you are not allowed to secretly make fun of me, who am I? I am Wang Xiaoqian, I never know how to write regret, but I am very good at writing madness, regular script madness, official script madness, Zinkai madness, and cursive script madness. Well written." Lin Feng said, "I definitely won't laugh at you secretly, otherwise I wouldn't have cried with you just now. Although a crush cannot be considered a love, I had a crush on you for a long time in the past, and your presence gave me a lot of motivation." Wang Xiaoqian said, "When I was in junior high school, I made fun of you because of your crush on me, but now I take back my teasing, I want to thank you. This topic is very wet. This topic is very heavy. This topic is likely to make the two of them stand up or cry." Lin Feng changed the topic, smiled and said, "Xiaoqian, you were not bragging just now, were you? You can write crazy characters in multiple fonts well?" Wang Xiaoqian was very excited and said in a coquettish voice, "It's definitely not bragging. If it's bragging, I will be punished for not having my period for 3 months." Lin Feng said, "Then you are pregnant." Wang Xiaoqian laughed and said, "A son of a bitch, Zhang Jian has been sentenced to life, who made me pregnant, AI, do you want to make my belly bigger? You are not afraid that I will give birth to the child, and take him to your vegetable store every day? Your parents, grandparents." Lin Feng said, "Even if I mess with you, I won't easily make your belly bigger." Wang Xiaoqian said that as long as you do it, your stomach may get bigger, the medicine may fail, and the cover may leak. Lin Feng said, "Do you want to try it?" Wang Xiaoqian looked into Lin Feng's eyes, shook her head and said, "Don't try, now I want you to see how I write crazy, come with me." Lin Feng and Wang Xiaoqian went to her bedroom together, and immediately smelled an intoxicating aroma, including the smell of lily perfume and the smell of milk-like skin. Thinking of Wang Xiaoqian's graceful body, Lin Feng's heart will go wild, and he wants to stand up in a daze, but even if his stamina is good, that is more than an hour of enthusiasm. What will happen after more than an hour? Wang Xiaoqian took out a piece of A4 copy paper from the drawer of the computer desk, and then filled the Hero Gold pen that had not been used for a long time with carbon ink. After a while of brewing, she began to write crazy on the paper. "Invincible Dragon welcomes you again, remember us. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment." Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 137. First wrote a madman in regular script, quite like the famous contemporary calligrapher Lu Zongnan. "How's it going, isn't it nice?" "Very good, you can write other words." "If I don't write anything else, if I write other characters that are ugly, I can write this crazy character well," Wang Xiaoqian said. Lin Feng said, "You continue to write." Wang Xiaoqian wrote the madness of subordination, the madness of Xingkai, and the madness of cursive script. So beautiful, so crazy. If you have the ability, you can write a madman in Xiaozuan. Do you think you can hold me back? Wang Xiaoqian immediately wrote a madness in Xiaozuan. Lin Feng was immediately shocked, and he hugged Wang Xiaoqian and kissed. Wang Xiaoqian threw the Hero Gold pen on the table before she could put it on the cap, and hugged Lin Feng tightly. The two fiery bodies squeezed each other. During the kiss, Lin Feng stroked Wang Xiaoqian's chest to the fullest. After being very intoxicated and having limited ambiguity, Wang Xiaoqian gasped as she looked at Lin Feng's face and shouted, "Get out!" Is she angry? She shouldn't be angry. Facts have proved that Wang Xiaoqian is not angry. After shouting, she shows a charming smile and pushes Lin Feng out. If they don't go out, they will probably roll over onto the big bed. Sitting on the sofa in the living room again, Wang Xiaoqian didn't dare to lean on Lin Feng again, for fear of getting excited again. Lin Feng will go to Beijing tomorrow. She is always impulsive, which is not good for her. Wang Xiaoqian said, "When you arrive in Beijing, remember to contact me. If you have anything to do, send a text message and give a call. If you see me on the internet, you can chat a few words. I'll set the permissions to be visible to you." Lin Feng said that he would be in touch. Wang Xiaoqian said that after the Spring Festival, according to the age calculation of our Shuiqing County, we are both 26. I am divorced, but you should get married too. Lin Feng said that there is no rush to get married. I plan to solve the marriage affairs around the age of 32. I don't even have a girlfriend now. Wang Xiaoqian said, "You are very capable and loyal. You are not handsome but you are not bad looking. You are over 180 tall, and you are good at kung fu. There will be a lot of girls who like you. Pick a good one. When you get married, I will be a bridesmaid." Lin Feng said, "No problem, I will let you be the bridesmaid when I get married." Wang Xiaoqian changed her mind and said, "Forget it, when you get married, I will hide in the corner seat to eat and drink. I can't be your bridesmaid. I'm a divorced woman, so I won't be your bridesmaid auspicious." Lin Feng said, "I am not afraid." Wang Xiaoqian said, "But I am afraid." The two hugged tightly again. The delayed outbreak caused by their crush was very frenetic. Just when the two kissed each other frantically, Lin Feng's cell phone rang. Seeing that the caller ID was Zhao Heidao, Lin Feng smiled and said, "Look, Heidao called me. This kid must have a very complicated mood. Meng Suili has finally become his wife, and the bridesmaid turned out to be Su Qingyuan. Wang Xiaoqian smiled and didn't say anything. She felt that even if Zhao Heidao was struggling, she was much luckier than her. Lin Feng picked it up and said with a smile, "Hai Tao, I will go to Beijing tomorrow. If you have time in the evening, come to my house and let's have a drink." Zhao Heidao said, "I really want to drink with you, but not at night, but now, I am waiting for you at the foot of Baishan, hope you can be there within an hour." Lin Feng felt that Zhao Heidao's tone of speech was a bit wrong. Zhao Heidao suddenly wanted to drink with him in the cold wind of Baishan, which was even more wrong, but Lin Feng couldn't understand for a while, what happened to Zhao Heidao. Lin Feng was about to leave, and Wang Xiaoqian was reluctant to let him go. She hugged his waist and did not let go. She leaned back a little, and her stomach was tightly pressed against Lin Feng's side. Lin Feng said, "Heidao wants to see me, maybe there is something wrong, I can't continue to accompany you, after I arrive in Beijing, we will be singing." Wang Xiaoqian's slender legs trembled, and her stomach trembled along with it. She gently touched Lin Feng's body, and the softness and heat were transmitted to Lin Feng's body, which made him very impulsive, but he had to control this impulse. Wang Xiaoqian said, "I will definitely contact you, just don't think I'm annoying, remember to tell me when you have a girlfriend, after that, I will still contact you, but I will pay attention to the way I speak, I will not, it will affect your relationship with other women, and it will not affect your marriage. If one day you find me annoying, remember to tell me, I have self-knowledge." Lin Feng said, "I understand what you mean, but you don't need to be so sad, just show it to me." Wang Xiaoqian laughed madly, but she was more like the madman in the regular script she wrote, definitely not the madman in cursive script, the madness just now was very typical. When Lin Feng arrived at the foot of Baishan, only Zhao Heidao was waiting for him, Meng Suoli did not come with him. Seeing Lin Feng coming over, Zhao Heidao's mouth showed a cold smile, and he raised the erkuatu in his hand, "Let's go, go up the mountain, sit halfway up the mountain and drink." Lin Feng said, "Heidao, you are a little abnormal, what happened?" "We are good brothers, what can you say?" Zhao Heidao said, "I have nothing to do, I just want to drink with you. When I drink in Baishan, I just want to feel this wildness. We have been friends for many years, and we haven't been wild together for a long time. If it was wild to be wild together in middle school, it was true that it was not wild for a long time after that." Lin Feng and Zhao Heidao were not the kind of casual wild people. Lin Feng and Zhao Heidao climbed the mountain together. Zhao Heidao's anger can be seen from his face. Lin Feng can also be sure that Zhao Heidao is angry because of him, but Lin Feng really doesn't know what he did to make Zhao Heidao angry. Lin Feng and Zhao Heidao sat under a few poplar trees halfway up the mountain. The tall poplar trees were bare, with no green leaves in spring and summer, only a small piece of xiao sa. Zhao Heidao opened erkuatu, his mouth was facing the mouth of the bottle, and he took 2 gulps. The alcohol quickly entered his blood, and the heat wave surged in his body. He turned back suddenly and looked at Lin Feng's face, as if he was about to have a seizure, but he didn't. The wine in his hand, the bottle was handed to Lin Feng's hand. Lin Feng took the wine bottle and took 2 sips. He frowned slightly and said, "Is it something that Su Qingyuan whispered to you that day at the foot of Baishan?" Zhao Heidao said, "No, you think too much. She said a few words to me, but didn't mention you." Lin Feng said, "I can see that you are angry with me, but I really don't know where to offend you. We have been brothers for so many years, and we have quarreled in the past, but we have never had many misunderstandings before. I don't have to misunderstand." Zhao Heidao never said what Su Qingyuan said to him at the time, because if he did, he would be even more unable to face Lin Feng. Lin Feng and Zhao Heidao sat halfway up the mountain and finished drinking a bottle of erkuatu. Zhao Heidao said, "Lin Feng, is your kung fu better than before?" Lin Feng said, "Almost, I didn't feel that my kung fu had improved much. After I arrived in Beijing, I didn't practice kung fu much. Lin Feng said in his heart, but after I arrived in Beijing, I met a few masters that I had never met before. After fighting with those people, I had a new position on my kung fu, because I won all of them. Zhao Heidao said, I feel that I fight more than when I was in middle school. Whether I have made progress can only be felt by playing against real masters. Let's fight all morning. Lin Feng said, what if I don't fight you? Zhao Heidao said, if you don't fight me, it means that you despise me, and you won't be friends in the future, just treat it like you've never dated before. The problem is serious. Zhao Heidao didn't hate him in general, and this hatred appeared suddenly. Lin Feng said, I can fight you, but after the fight, you must tell me what happened. Zhao Heidao didn't say anything, just stared at Lin Feng's eyes, as if he wanted to find some kind of answer in his eyes. Zhao Heidao did not find the answer in Lin Feng's eyes, but his heart was cold. After going down the mountain, at the foot of Baishan Mountain, that was the place where Su Qingyuan was also very strong with the smell of super gunpowder. At this time, there were only Lin Feng and Zhao Heidao, and the smell of gunpowder was still very strong. Lin Feng's heart was overturned, but he seemed calm, but Zhao Heidao was like a gunpowder keg, which could explode at any time. Lin Feng's eyes were a little dazed. Seeing that Zhao Heidao's fist had already slammed into his face, he avoided it the moment he turned sideways. If he could grab Zhao Heidao's wrist with a shot immediately, and hit another punch casually, Zhao Heidao would temporarily lose his ability to attack, but Lin Feng just avoided it and didn't fight back. Zhao Heidao didn't roar, but his fists were full of strength, and two more punches slammed into Lin Feng's face, causing Lin Feng to avoid them. Zhao Heidao's fists began to change angles, attacking Lin Feng's face as well as his chest and stomach. He punched out more than 10 punches, but Lin Feng's body was not even touched. Zhao Heidao even used his legs and kicked out with more than 10 legs. Although he had not practiced kung fu seriously, his attack power was good, but he still failed to touch Lin Feng's body. Lin Feng said, it's up to me. He casually lifted his leg and kicked Zhao Heidao's stomach. Zhao Heidao let out a muffled cry and flew out and fell to the ground. After falling to the ground, Zhao Heidao gasped, not because Lin Feng's kick just now hurt him, but because of anger. Lin Feng walked over slowly and stretched out his hand to pull Zhao Heidao up, but Zhao Heidao did not grab his hand, but stood up by himself. Lin Feng said, what happened? What did Su Qingyuan say to you that day? Zhao Heidao said that Su Qingyuan just said that I gave up on her to marry Meng Suili because my brain was kicked by a donkey, and that I would regret it later. Lin Feng said, didn't you mention me? Zhao Heidao said, no. Lin Feng said, why did you go crazy just now? Zhao Heidao said, I didn't go crazy just now, I was normal, I just wanted to communicate with your good friend in a special way, because you helped me a lot. Without you, I'm afraid I can't deal with Su Qingyuan smoothly, I'm afraid I and Meng Suili the wedding also made her mess up. Until the evening, Lin Feng was thinking about what happened to Zhao Heidao and what Su Qingyuan said to Zhao Heidao. Zhao Heidao didn't admit it, but he was definitely mentioned in it. Could it be that Su Qingyuan made up an ambiguous story? If this is the case, it is normal for Zhao Heidao to be angry. Even if he breaks up with Su Qingyuan, he will not tolerate his good friend having that kind of relationship with Su Qingyuan at this juncture. Invincible Dragon welcomes you again, remember us. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 138. Lin Feng had Su Qingyuan's contact information in his hand. He dialed it, and Su Qingyuan picked it up quickly. Her voice seemed very pleasant. Su Qingyuan said, Lin Feng, you Kidzinga can use my contact information, so are you calling me? Tell me what's the matter. Lin Feng said that when I exchanged contact information at the time, I didn't want to use you, and although you were stunned once in Shuiqing County, you are not the kind of woman who can let others use you casually. Don't think I can't see it, you are quite black. Let me ask you, what did you say to Zhao Heidao that time at the foot of Baishan? Su Qingyuan said, is it necessary to tell you what I said? It was a whisper between me and the trigger of Zhao Heidao, it has nothing to do with you anyway. It really has nothing to do with me. No, oh, what happened on your side? Nothing. Lin Feng hung up the phone, but Su Qingyuan on the other end burst out laughing. It seemed that her exquisite design at that time had already worked wonders. Zhao Heidao must have mistakenly thought that Lin Feng had really hooked her up, and then asked Lin Feng to trouble her. Su Qingyuan would definitely not easily tell Lin Feng what she said at the time, she didn't even tell Cao Lin. Su Qingyuan said to herself, Zhao Heidao, you smelly trigger, since you have troubled Lin Feng so quickly, it means you still have me in your heart. Although Meng Suili has become your wife, you still love me the most. Let you fight with Lin Feng, the good brothers, if you make the old lady unhappy, the old lady will make you unhappy, you stinky trigger, you will suffer in the future. After Zhao Heidao and Meng Suili arrive in Taiyuan, Jin Province, Su Qingyuan plans to change their tricks to toss them, and want to live a happy little life. Go eat shit. Lin Feng arrived in Beijing. He finally came. Dinan saw Lin Feng the moment he entered the door, ran over quickly, and gave him a bright smile, you're finally here, I've been waiting for you for a long time. Lin Feng saw Dinan's beautiful face again, her plump and slender legs. Her graceful body exuded the smell of lily perfume. It was not a particularly high-end perfume, but she was intoxicated. Lin Feng sat on the chair in the partition room. He had just arrived, and there would definitely be no hot water in his thermos. Dinan brought tea from her partition room and sat next to Lin Feng, his heart beating faster. Have you thought about partnering in business? Now there is a particularly good opportunity. There is a facade room of more than 30 square meters near the front door of Beijing Normal University. I have already asked by phone. The rent is 10,000 yuan, which is okay. Lin Feng had just traveled from Shuiqing County to Beijing, and suddenly changed the environment and sat in his partition room again. Before he could get used to it, he suddenly heard so much from Dinan, and was even a little annoyed, but he did not attack Dinan. Lin Feng picked up a cigarette. Dinan quickly grabbed a disposable lighter and lit it for him, smiled and said, you smoke first, I have a gift for you, you wait a moment. Dinan ran out, and soon walked in with a gift box, smiling charmingly, guess what's inside? Lin Feng said, lighter. Dinan's face was crimson, and she said in a coquettish voice, I hate it. You guessed it at once, and there is no mystery at all. Lin Feng said, although I guessed it was a lighter, there was still a sense of mystery, because the lighter is beautifully packaged, and I don't know what brand or style it is. Dinan said, open it and take a look. Lin Feng opened the gift box in front of Dinan and saw a very beautiful lighter. It was his favorite sterling silver mirror 1937 World War II commemorative edition. The online price is 1,888 yuan. If you buy it from a specialty store it must be more than 2,000 yuan. Lin Feng said, it's so beautiful, I like it so much, where did you buy it? Dinan said that the specialty store. Lin Feng said, why not buy it online? Dinan said that he was afraid of buying fake ones. Lin Feng said that most of the regular online stores are genuine. Dinan said that most of them are real, but they may also be fake. I will buy it for you, I must buy the real one. Lin Feng was moved by Dinan's sincerity. Lin Feng hugged Dinan and let Dinan's towering chest touch his chest. The softness made him very comfortable. In Shuiqing County, there is a feeling called frivolity. In this partition room, there is a feeling called sincerity. Lin Feng said to Dinan's ear, don't you just want to open a small shop and be the owner? No problem, I will vote you 100,000 yuan, and I will be your partner. This is undoubtedly great news for Dinan. She immediately kissed Lin Feng 3 times in the face, and said with a weeping voice, "Lin Feng, thank you for being my partner. If you don't have this partner, I think my dream of being a boss is in vain. Do you know that I have that facade every day these days, for fear of being rented out by others?" Lin Feng said, "Hurry up and make a call." When he dialed the phone number, Dinan's hands were shaking. He called and made an appointment to pay the deposit an hour later, and signed the rental contract 3 days later. Lin Feng and Dinan hugged and kissed each other. Lin Feng was very intoxicated, and Dinan was also very intoxicated. After almost 20 minutes of kissing, Lin Feng's hand was also kneading Dinan's chest, making Dinan's body warm for a time. Secondary outbreak. After the ambiguity, Lin Feng and Dinan went there together. After seeing the facade of the house with more than 30 square meters, Lin Feng was also very satisfied. Although the area was a little smaller and the decoration was a little outdated, the rent was relatively reasonable and the location was very good. Sell some small commodities that students need, maybe I can make some money. The 10,000 yuan deposit was given by Lin Feng. In addition to the 10,000 yuan, Lin Feng would also invest 90,000 yuan. The total investment is 100,000 yuan. At the same time, Nan also invested 100,000 yuan. The starting capital is 200,000 yuan. In addition to the rent of 120,000 yuan, there are 80,000 yuan. After returning to the partition room, Lin Feng gave a more reasonable plan. The 80,000 yuan will be used for 50,000 yuan to purchase goods, and the remaining 30,000 yuan will be used as working capital, and the money needed for related procedures will also come from the 30,000 yuan out. Dinan said at first that there was no problem, but soon suggested that he should spend 20,000 yuan to renovate the front room. Lin Feng said, "I am not in favor of spending 20,000 yuan to renovate the front house. Even if the house is rented, it can only be guaranteed to operate in our hands for 1 year. We did not pay the rent for several years at one time. Therefore, it is difficult to say whether it can be rented to us in the second year, and whether it can make money is not clear." Dinan said, "But the current decoration is too bad. Although we are not an agency brand, I also want to sell something a little higher grade. If the decoration is too bad, our goods will be very worthless." Lin Feng said, "Your idea also makes sense. In fact, I also thought of what you said. I just don't want to invest money in the decoration. After all, the existing decoration can be used. It is better to simply modify it like this, but the cost cannot exceed 5,000. Dinan said, "Isn't it too nervous to control it within 5,000? Lin Feng said that the shelf is also included within 5,000. Dinan almost fainted, frowned, and looked at Lin Feng's face. "You bastard, have you ever done business before, and even if you haven't seen what other people's stores look like?" As soon as he became a partner, he began to say that Lin Feng was an asshole. Dinan also realized that what he said just now was inappropriate, and said with an embarrassed expression, "I'm sorry, Lin Feng, I was too excited just now, don't take it to heart." Lin Feng said, "Why are you nervous? If you say that I'm a jerk, I'll be angry, then I can't have this partner. I know you want our store to be more beautiful, I also want Ike. If you want to make a little money or want to in the end, you don't lose money. You have to follow my rhythm. To control costs is to create profits. Many luxury hotels lose a lot of money. Bosses run away. You think those bosses are not doing renovations to improve the grade? No. In order to use this to attract business. What's the result? A crushing defeat." Dinan said, "But we are opening a small shop with more than 30 square meters, not a big hotel." Lin Feng said that the principle is the same, 10,000 plus 10,000 equals 20,000 because 1 plus 1 equals 2. Dinan's eyes flickered, and after a while, he said, "Okay, Listen to you, 2000 yuan for decoration and 3000 yuan for shelves. What kind of decoration can you do with 2000 yuan? Dinan was very embarrassed. He really couldn't come up with a suitable solution. Lin Feng solved the problem in a few words. He said that the walls were covered with wallpaper, the broken floor tiles were repaired, and the two bowl doors were cracked. Drop it and replace it with an aluminum alloy sliding door. Listening to Lin Feng mentioning the aluminum alloy sliding door, Dinan pouted and said, "That kind of door is the most inferior." Lin Feng said with a smile, "Cleanliness is the grade. If our small shop is replaced with a high-end revolving door, it will make people laugh to death. It is like a snack city with an area of dozens of square meters named Huaxia Hotel. People don't want to eat, they just want to vomit." Now that Lin Feng is here, there is someone who will definitely not let him go, and that is Shang Yunjuan, the charming landlady. During the time when Lin Feng went home for the new year, Shang Yunjuan had at least 5 dreams about Lin Feng. Each dream was very warm. When she woke up from the dream, her body was as moist as a river. Shang Yunjuan came over directly. After knocking on the door, Lin Feng opened the door for her. Seeing Shang Yunjuan dressed in a small suit, Lin Feng's body immediately stood up, because the small suit made Shang Yunjuan's chest look too large. It's too big, it makes her taste too charming. "Sister Shang, you're here. Well, come and see." Shang Yunjuan quickly smiled at Dinan without being mean. "You're here too, what did you two talk about just now?" Dinan proudly said that business. Shang Yunjuan was very puzzled and looked at Lin Feng's face. "Do you want to do business with Dinan?" What kind of business?" "It's definitely not a graphic production center, and I won't compete with you for business," Lin Feng said with a smile. "You little bastard, taunting your sister Shang, you can open a graphic production center. As long as it is more than 1 kilometer away from my store, it will not affect my business. I have old customers, and I make light boxes and banners for them every day." "I'm greedy for you," Shang Yunjuan said. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 139. Lin Feng and Dinan both laughed. Shang Yunjuan was a little embarrassed. She snorted and sat on the chair. But what Shang Yunjuan said just now is not wrong at all. The biggest business of her graphic production center is light boxes and banners. The company's corporate brochures can easily make tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of business. I have never caught it before, otherwise even if I become a middleman, I can make a lot of money by finding a third-party printing factory to complete the necessary links." Dinan said, "Sister Shang, Lin Feng and I have collaborated on a facade room of more than 30 square meters near the front door of Beijing Normal University. We plan to sell accessories and handbags." Shang Yunjuan said, "How much is the investment?" Dinan said, "A total of 200,000 yuan, I will pay 100,000 yuan, and Lin Feng will pay 100,000 yuan. Do you think we can earn it?" Shang Yunjuan said, "How was the 200,000 investment arranged?" Dinan explained Lin Feng's arrangement. Shang Yunjuan thought it was reasonable, smiled and said, "Lin Feng is right, your lease is only 1 year, so you definitely can't make a big fuss about the decoration. When it expires, the landlord will directly hire the lease. If you can't renew the lease, and you can't sublease yourself, it's impossible to get the decoration fee from the new tenant." Dinan said, "If you make money, you will definitely continue to open it. Sister Shang, you have been opening a store for many years. Do you think Lin Feng and I can make money?" Shang Yunjuan said that if you are selling small accessories and handbags, as long as the goods are good, you should be able to make money. "I don't think you can make much money, but you can definitely make some money." Dinan's confidence is even stronger. It is very unlikely that her and Lin Feng's store can open immediately, and then customers flood in like a tide. She and Lin Feng have to be careful, for fear that someone will pass the goods and not give money. Night. Lin Feng arrived at Shang Yunjuan and Shang Yuna's house. Shang Yuna was not there, which made Lin Feng a little disappointed. Not only did he miss Shang Yunjuan, he also wanted to see Shang Yuna. He knows that his thoughts are excessive, but others often go too far, and sometimes he can go too far. Lin Feng was sitting on the sofa on the TV, thinking about where the beautiful teacher Shang Yuna went in the evening. Shang Yunjuan brought tea and brought her round buttocks to Lin Feng's side. "Great writer, drink tea. It's been a while, and your name for me has changed again. You're not a lowercase writer, you've become a big writer. Look at you, if you're not happy that I call you a big writer, then I'll call you a small writer. Where's Yun Na?" "I went to the movies with her boyfriend," said Shang Yunjuan. There was a thunderous sound in Lin Feng's heart. He received a call from Shang Yunjuan when he was at home. When he asked about Shang Yuna, he felt that Shang Yunjuan's tone was a bit wrong. Sure enough, there was a situation. "Shang Yuna, I found a new boyfriend." Lin Feng pretended to be calm and said with a smile, "Have you found a satisfactory husband-in-law this time? Who did you find?" "Police." As soon as Shang Yunjuan's voice fell, something miraculous happened. Lin Feng immediately stood up and sang straight with his waist, several times of wind and rain, several times of spring and autumn, wind, frost, snow and rain, and torrents. Sorrow. Enough. Shang Yunjuan was so angry that she shouted and said angrily, "You bastard, what are you making a fool of yourself? Yun Na found a boyfriend and made you look like this." Lin Feng pulled Shang Yunjuan into his arms and said with a chuckle, "I like this song very much. When you mentioned the police, I wanted to sing a few words. No matter what you look like in front of you, it doesn't count." Shang Yunjuan said, "Did you think you were not good enough just now? Do you think I won't laugh at you?" Lin Feng said that a man's biggest appearance is his thing. "Not only have you seen my thing, you have also enjoyed my thing. If you didn't laugh at my thing, you shouldn't laugh at me." Shang Yunjuan was shy and angry at the same time, and her charming face turned into a peach blossom. After deliberation for a moment, she decided not to drive Lin Feng away. If she drives away Lin Feng, she will be even more intolerable. "I will continue to miss Shang Yuna." Shang Yunjuan said that the boyfriend Yun Na found was Guan Weidong, the deputy director of a certain police station. He was 32 years old, a few years older than Yun Na, but it was nothing. "If Yun Na and Weidong become, I will be relieved." Lin Feng said, "Listen to what you mean, Guan Weidong is a person with a great background." Shang Yunjuan said, "What is that kid? He is older than you, and he is a policeman. Be polite to him. His father is the director of a real power department, and his mother is a professor at the School of Foreign Languages of Beijing Normal University. Have a background?" Lin Feng said that it cannot be regarded as a very background. In Beijing, Guan Weidong's family can only be regarded as a little background. Shang Yunjuan pouted and said, "Lin Feng, you don't need to be two sour grapes, right? I said before that you and Yun Na have nothing to do with each other, but you just don't listen. No matter what you say, I think Yun Na can marry. It's already very good to give to the son of the director of the real power department. Don't be mentally unbalanced, boy. If you encounter something in the future, you can ask her boyfriend to help you." Lin Feng's heart was very distressed, but he was more calm than before, and said with a smile, "Guan Weidong is divorced." Shang Yunjuan was stunned for a moment, wondering, "How did you know that Weidong was divorced?" Lin Feng said that with a family background like Guan Weidong, he is still single at the age of 32. There are three situations. The first is that the schooling time is too long due to the high degree of education. I bet Guan Weidong belongs to the third type of divorce. It really made Lin Feng guess right. Guan Weidong was indeed divorced once. His first marriage was when he was 28 years old. After 3 years with that woman, he divorced last spring. Shang Yunjuan said, "What happened to the divorce?" "No child, no burden, when Yun Na marries him, it will be a new beginning, and the days are beautiful." Lin Feng said, "Even if Yun Na wants to date such a divorced man, she has to figure out why he divorced." "You are a divorced woman. Is the topic of divorce not harsh to you at all?" Shang Yunjuan said that Wei Dong said that when the relationship is not in harmony, his mother, Professor Li of the School of Foreign Languages of Beijing Normal University, also said the same. If Yun Na and Wei Dong get along very well, naturally they won't get divorced. Lin Feng lit a cigarette and started smoking. After a while, he said, "I don't think it's that simple for Guan Weidong to divorce his ex-wife. Maybe it's because of Guan Weidong. Shang Yunjuan wants Shang Yuna and Guan Weidong to become two. What an honor to marry the son of the director of a real power department, and Guan Weidong is tall, handsome, and capable. Now he is the deputy director of a police station at the age of 32. In the future, it may be the director or the director. Let's be as beautiful as you like in your childhood." Shang Yunjuan's fist slammed Lin Feng's arm, and said coldly, "Don't mess around. If you do something too much, be careful to get into the game. Wei Dong will have no problem with you." Lin Feng chuckled and said, "Don't scare me, I believe that 80% of the police in this world are very reasonable. If I don't do anything, he won't be able to arrest me." Shang Yunjuan pointed her finger at Lin Feng's face and hummed, "You better not do anything wrong, kid." Lin Feng immediately picked up Shang Yunjuan and walked towards the bedroom, sneering, and said, "I want to do something to you right now." Shang Yunjuan struggled for a moment and then hugged Lin Feng's neck. During the passionate kiss, Lin Feng and Shang Yunjuan rolled onto the big soft bed and climbed up to their heart's content. Hot for a long time. They were extremely satisfied with each other. After Shang Yunjuan was nourished by Lin Feng, her face flushed and she stroked Lin Feng's chest and said, "Bless Yuna, I'm blessing her, you and I bless her together." Lin Feng said, "I like Yun Na, I also know that I am not suitable for her in the current situation, or I think it is suitable, but both you and she think that I am not her type. If Yun Na and Guan Weidong are really suitable, I will definitely bless them." Shang Yunjuan said, "Would you really bless them?" Lin Feng said, "Yes, because my heart is not dark." It was estimated that Shang Yuna was coming back soon. Shang Yunjuan wanted Lin Feng to leave, but Lin Feng was sitting in the living room watching TV and smoking, and had no intention of leaving. Shang Yunjuan said, "Lin Feng, let's go. Wei Dong will drive Yuna back after a while. Every time Wei Dong brings Yuna back, he will go upstairs and sit for a while, to let him see that you are not suitable." Lin Feng said, "I will leave after I finish smoking the cigarette." As soon as he finished speaking, he heard the door open, and both Shang Yuna and Guan Weidong came in. Shang Yuna is wearing a sweater, boots, trousers, leather boots, and a brown windbreaker. The charming and amorous taste caused a strong impact on Lin Feng. Guan Weidong's height is about the same as Lin Feng's, both are about 180. He is handsome, tall, and straight and looks very powerful. If he has no bad habits, he can be very good to Shang Yuna, which is indeed a very suitable one. Right. When Lin Feng was actually there, Shang Yuna was a little embarrassed and said with a smile, "Great writer, when did you come?" Lin Feng said, "I just arrived today, and your sister always wanted to know the plot of the second half of the novel I am writing now. I came to tell her about it. When I updated her, she was getting irritated." Of course, Shang Yuna knew that Lin Feng had just done that with her sister, but Lin Feng's excuse just now made her very satisfied. Looking at Guan Weidong's face again, she knew that he had no doubts at all. Shang Yuna said, "Weidong, this is Lin Feng, the internet writer I mentioned to you. He is very talented and persistent." Guan Weidong was a little arrogant, but he had a decent face. Maybe it was to show his grace in front of Shang Yuna, he took the initiative to extend his hand. Lin Feng and Guan Weidong shook hands and smiled at the same time. Guan Weidong felt the power in Lin Feng's hands. Although Lin Feng didn't exert any force, Guan Weidong, a man who graduated from the police academy and trained in orthodox Sanda fighting, still felt it. Guan Weidong wondered, "Lin Feng, do you know Kung Fu?" Lin Feng said with a smile, "He knows a little." Guan Weidong said, "I felt through shaking hands just now that your Kung Fu is not weak, so let's make a few gestures when we look back." When Guan Weidong said that he was going to compete with Lin Feng, Shang Yuna and Shang Yunjuan were very anxious. Shang Yunjuan said, "There is no point in making a game. It's pointless for the two of you to decide whether to win or lose." Guan Weidong said, "Sister Shang, when you meet someone who knows Kung Fu, you like to learn from each other. When there is a chance in the future, I will have a fight with Lin Feng. It will definitely be until the point is reached, and I will not hurt him." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 140. Sitting on the sofa, Guan Weidong took the initiative to find a topic and chatted with Lin Feng. He smiled, "In the police station where I work, two subordinates also read online novels, one of them likes to read Xiangxia, the other likes to read The City. I don't know if he has read your novels before. I will ask when I look back." Lin Feng said that there are a lot of people reading online novels now. Including mobile phone users, there are at least hundreds of millions of people in Huaxia. The current situation is very good, and the prospects are very bright. Guan Weidong said, "I heard from my two subordinates before that people who write online novels make tens of millions a year." Lin Feng said, "There are quite a few, of which there are more than a few million a year, and hundreds of thousands a year are like a feather." Guan Weidong said casually, "How much do you earn a year?" Lin Feng said, "I haven't started for a long time, and I am a novice in this industry." Lin Feng and Guan Weidong chatted more and more hotly. Shang Yunjuan couldn't listen anymore, and smiled, "Lin Feng, you still have a long way to go. The house price in Beijing is so expensive. Weidong has a set of more than 260 square meters on hand. The luxury house is in a very good location. According to the current housing price in Beijing, it is over 10 million yuan. According to your current income level, it takes more than 100 years to buy such a luxury house without eating or drinking." Lin Feng was not annoyed, nor did he seem to be embarrassed, and said with a smile, "Sister Shang, you are flattering me a bit. If I were to use my current royalties standards, I wouldn't be able to afford such a big mansion in 100 years, because 100 years from now, North Korea will not be able to afford such a big mansion. The housing prices in Tianjin are higher, and another situation is that I may go to Mars in 100 years, and no one knows what the level of real estate developers on Mars is." Shang Yuna and Guan Weidong both laughed. Shang Yunjuan didn't have the heart to laugh, but she still laughed together. Shang Yunjuan said in her heart, "Lin Feng, you don't have much money, so it's a good idea to block people." Later, she rolled onto the bed and saw that I didn't screw your heart. Guan Weidong was about to leave, and Lin Feng also planned to leave. The two walked out together. Guan Weidong was not driving a public car, but his private car, a black Audi A6. He said, "Lin Feng, I know where you live. I send you." Lin Feng said, "No need, go ahead, I'll just take a taxi and go back." Guan Weidong said, "It's all right, I'll take it to you without any trouble." Lin Feng didn't expect Shang Yuna to have a new boyfriend named Guan Weidong. He was the deputy director of the police station and the son of a director. Lin Feng also didn't expect that he would chat with Guan Weidong for almost 20 minutes. Lin Feng didn't expect Guan Weidong even more. "We'll drive him home in an Audi A6. We didn't talk much along the way. Guan Weidong listened to rock music. he was a little nostalgic and passionate. Guan Weidong was a gentleman, but Lin Feng always felt that he was a very popular person. A person who is too gentle or too gentleman can't be a police officer, otherwise they will be caught by criminals, so it is not surprising that Guan Weidong is a popular person. Lin Feng behaved very well when he saw Shang Yuna and Guan Weidong, but when he returned to the partition room and sat on the chair facing the computer, he felt lost. No matter what kind of person Guan Weidong is, his conditions are indeed good enough. He has a father who is in charge of a real power department, and he is also the deputy director of a police station. There is a lot of room for promotion in the future. So let's wish Yuna a blessing for now, but wishing Yuna a blessing doesn't mean he won't be disappointed. Although it was very late, Lin Feng still planned to work hard. Facing the document, he did not code a word for more than 10 minutes. Lin Feng turned off the computer and lay down on the bed. At the same time, he also turned off the lights and smoked in the dark. Hearing the knock on the door, Lin Feng put on his pants, then walked over to open the door, and said with a smile, "Dinan, you haven't slept yet?" "No, I heard you came back just now, but I came out and saw that the lights in your room were turned off. I was very curious, so I came over to see what you were doing." "Counting money." "Counting money without turning on the lights?" "I'm kidding you, you believe in AI, I'm depressed, so I turn off the lights and sleep," Lin Feng said. Dinan said, "Now that we are both partners, you should tell me if you are depressed." "Maybe chatting with Dinan will make him feel much better," Lin Feng said. "Come on then, chat with me." The light was turned on, but Lin Feng still lay down on the bed. Dinan sat on the chair at first, but seeing that Lin Feng didn't want to speak, he quickly lay down on the bed. Shrouded in the fragrance of Dinan, looking at her proud chest facing the ceiling, Lin Feng put his hand on her chest and kneaded it. Dinan did not resist. Under Lin Feng's touch, her breathing became more and more uneven. Lin Feng wanted to reach in through the hem of the night dress, but Dinan grabbed it. Dinan said that if he wanted to reach in, he would go from above. Dinan's Lin Feng reached in and touched her trousers, and then touched her wet area. Lin Feng understood what Dinan meant, so he reached in from the neckline of his night dress and stroked her. More than 10 minutes later, Lin Feng took out his hand, the scent of Dinan's skin glowed, and Dinan took another breath before gradually calming down. Dinan said, "What happened to you?" Lin Feng talked about Shang Yuna's finding a good boyfriend, and said, "My heart is not dark, I will definitely not curse Yuna, but I am really depressed." Dinan said, "I have long known that you like Yuna, but since she didn't choose you, it can only be like this. Don't be depressed, I believe you will be rich in the future, and I also believe in your future girlfriend no worse than Yuna. But a very real question is, how long will it be in the future? Lin Feng really wants to get rich in the shortest possible time. Let's get tens of millions first. The sooner you get rich, the sooner you can enjoy life. Too much. If he joins forces with Black Rose, the beautiful owner of Menfei Yang Disco, and does something he doesn't want to do, he might get a sum of money in the short term, but Lin Feng would rather be poor than do that. If Hey Rose suddenly asks him to hit an innocent person, he won't be able to do it. If Hey Rose suddenly asks him to kill someone, then he will not be far from his own end. Hey Rose is very enthusiastic towards him, but Lin Feng knows that Hey Rose has no good intentions towards him, and all the benefits that Hey Rose gives him needs to be paid for by him. Seeing Lin Feng's expression blurred again, Dinan patted his chest with a slender hand, and said with a smile, "Lin Feng, do you think our store can make 1 million a year? If we can make 1 million a year, each of us can get 500,000. Lin Feng said with a relieved smile, "I don't want to discourage your enthusiasm, but I have to say something, don't hold too much disapproval for this small shop, as long as we don't lose money, as long as we make a little tens of thousands, we will be successful. If a small shop sells some small commodities, it can make 1 million yuan a year, and all the people who do business will make it. The streets are full of people doing business. Dinan was a little lost, but her confidence soon regained her confidence. The store has not yet officially opened, so she must have confidence. She smiled and said, "How much do you think our store can make in a year?" Linfeng said, "It hasn't opened yet, how do I know?" Dinan said, "Make a prediction." Linfeng knew that if he didn't give a rough prediction, Dinan would keep asking, and he was in a bad mood. If Dinan kept asking, he would get angry, and if he broke out, he would hurt Dinan. Heart of Linfeng said that if it goes well, it is possible to earn 100,000 yuan a year, and it is very possible for each of us to get 50,000 to 60,000 yuan. The more important thing for this small shop is not to make money but to accumulate experience. I haven't done any business, I can open a bigger store when I have a solid foundation and more experience. Dinan said that he might make a lot of money when he represents a brand in a prosperous area in the future. Linfeng said that at that time, it is very possible to earn several million a year. Dinan got excited and smiled brightly. "It's really at that time, is it possible to make tens of millions a year?" Linfeng said, "It is possible." After another hot kiss, Dinan left Linfeng's partition room, but her scent was still there. Savoring the fragrance left by Dinan, Linfeng was depressed in the fascination. Linfeng and Dinan signed a contract for the front house rented by Dinan. Last time, Linfeng had paid a deposit of 10,000 yuan. This time, he took out another 90,000 yuan. The remaining 20,000 yuan was paid by Dinan. After paying the rent of 120,000 yuan, this 30-story bungalow will be managed by Linfeng and Dinan within a year. Because of the excitement, Dinan's face flushed, and even the eyes he looked at Linfeng were very different, as if Linfeng was her man and her backbone. In fact, Linfeng is just her backbone, not her man. They have had some ambiguity with each other, but they have never done that kind of thing. Linfeng and Dinan were in the empty facade room, the roller shutters were pulled down, and they felt like a two-person world. If Linfeng and Dinan stand up on the ground, they can create extraordinary enthusiasm, but the shop has not yet opened, so the two of them cannot stand up in advance. If they annoy the god of wealth, they will make him. The two are trying to lose money. Dinan put his arms around Linfeng's waist, and smiled charmingly. "Your 100,000 yuan has already been invested, I only invested 20,000 yuan, and the remaining 80,000 yuan will come out of me. You can rest assured, this partner will never cheat, otherwise you take off my pants and hang them on the tree on the street, I have no problem." Linfeng said with a smile, "Even if I did take off your pants, I would throw them on my bed or chair, not hanging on a tree." Dinan said, "You really hate it," and then became warm with Linfeng, savoring Dinan's red lips. Linfeng's hand touched her plump chest again, and her skin was tender and elastic. The facade room is in hand. It is necessary to celebrate. Linfeng has already asked Li Xingguo to have a drink in the evening. He is the host. Dinan wants to celebrate alone with Linfeng. Every time he drinks with Linfeng alone, Dinan will have an extraordinary mood. She may think of the pains in the past, but she will also imagine that it may come to her in the future. All kinds of happiness. Spending money is happiness, fiery pleasure is happiness, intimate friends are happiness, sincere gratitude is happiness. In the partition room, Linfeng was smoking, and Dinan was also smoking. Dinan said that Li Xingguo would definitely bring Zhao Fei to dinner together at night. Linfeng said, "The matter between you and Zhao Fei is in the past, everyone is moving forward, forget about your past with her." Dinan said that it doesn't mean that you can forget it. You must also want to forget some things in the past, but you have never forgotten them. Linfeng said, "That's right, it's easy to talk about others, but it's just as difficult if it falls on one's own head." Peach Youth. Author, Sukifeng. Chapter 141. Evening. When Lin Feng and Dinan were hugging and kissing in the partition room, Lin Feng's cell phone rang, and the kiss was intoxicating, but Lin Feng thought it was a call from Li Xingguo. When his tongue slipped out of Dinan's mouth to pick it up while on the phone, Dinan bit his tongue in dissatisfaction. Although it wasn't very painful and didn't bleed, Lin Feng still covered his mouth in pain. Dinan was horrified and screamed, "No way, Lin Feng, did I just bite you?" Lin Feng lowered his hand and made a face at Dinan. When he saw that the call was from Li Xingguo, he picked it up. "Xingguo, what time will you arrive?" Li Xingguo said, "Zhao Fei and I are already on the road, there is a bit of traffic jam, we will arrive at your place in more than half an hour." After Lin Feng and Li Xingguo finished talking, Dinan raised his slender legs and kicked Lin Feng's buttocks. He said angrily, "You are too much. You didn't bite you just now. You pretended. Do you know how scared I was just now?" Lin Feng said, "If you bite my tongue, you will feel guilty?" Dinan said, "If I really bite your tongue, I will not only feel guilty but also very painful, maybe I won't be able to let it go in a few years." Lin Feng said, "It seems that I am very important to you." Dinan smiled brightly and said, "You are my good friend and my partner. Of course you are very important to me." Li Xingguo wanted to bring Zhao Fei over. Dinan felt a little awkward, but the matter between her and Zhao Fei has already passed, and there must be a process of change. Since becoming Li Xingguo's girlfriend, Zhao Fei has become more. She drags a lot, loves to play poses in the circle of friends, and is even more arrogant in front of Dinan, because Zhao Fei hates Dinan. Lin Feng said, "When Zhao Fei arrives, if she shows you a look, please bear with it. After all, it is to celebrate that we have our own facade room. If the atmosphere is deadlocked, you will be depressed." Dinan said, "I will try to endure it, but if Zhao Fei goes too far, I may not be able to bear it." Lin Feng didn't go on talking. If Dinan couldn't bear it anymore, he wouldn't have to bear it anymore. Li Xingguo and Zhao Fei arrived. Li Xingguo was wearing a very high-end casual suit, which was estimated to cost tens of thousands of yuan. Zhao Fei was also wearing high-end clothes that cost tens of thousands of yuan. A noble woman, but she does have such a noble atmosphere at this time. As soon as she walked into Lin Feng's partition room, when Li Xingguo casually sat on the chair and handed Lin Feng a cigarette, Zhao Fei looked around and sniffed, and said softly, "The smell of smoke in this room is too strong, it smells bad." Both Lin Feng and Dinan felt that Zhao Fei had already begun to play with her posture, but it was nothing. Just what she said just now can be completely ignored in her heart. Lin Feng smiled lightly. He didn't answer Zhao Fei's words. Dinan's face was expressionless, and he didn't answer Zhao Fei's words. Li Xingguo said, "Congratulations to the two of you, Ai Lin Feng Dinan, you two finally have your own storefront. Many businesses have grown up since childhood. Now that you are small bosses, you may become super big bosses in the future. Lin Feng, you are very talented, you are a genius in both civil and military, and you, Dinan, although you have never done business before, I think you are very talented in business." Li Xingguo's lip service is quite powerful. Lin Feng regarded Li Xingguo as a good friend, but he did not take his words seriously. But what Li Xingguo said just now made Dinan very happy. Although the small shop he and Lin Feng partnered with had not yet opened, Dinan was already imagining what she would be like if she became a big boss. Zhao Fei showed a look of contempt. Her expression was even more extreme than when she first walked into this partition room. She leaned on Li Xingguo and showed her affection, and said softly, "Don't you want to eat? Then hurry up and go. Hey, staying in this partition room for too long will affect my body." Li Xingguo loved Zhao Fei very much, but also felt that Zhao Fei's attitude was a bit too much. He frowned lightly and said, "What's the hurry? Let's chat for a while and then go out to eat." Seeing that Li Xingguo was angry, Zhao Fei immediately restrained herself a lot. After all, she had already pinned her happiness on Li Xingguo. If she annoyed Li Xingguo, it would not benefit her at all. Lin Feng said, "Xingguo, there are other related procedures for applying for a business license. I want your help. You have many acquaintances." Li Xingguo said, "There is no problem at all, and I will help you to do it soon. To be honest, you are doing business without a license and it is nothing. Someone really went to check it?" Lin Feng said, "Since it's a business, let's be more standardized, we have to have all the required documents." Lin Feng doesn't want to be exciting when doing business. Operating without a license may seem like a good idea, but it's actually very unwise. Zhao Fei Xin said, "Lin Feng, isn't your boy both civil and military? Why do you want my boyfriend to help you with all kinds of documents? I see you have no other advantages besides typing and sleeping with certain women." Zhao Fei didn't say what was in her mind just now, but Lin Feng and Dainan both found contempt in her expression. Went to the street together, Lin Feng planned to find a better restaurant to treat guests, but Li Xingguo said that anyone nearby could do it. It happened that there was a newly opened hotel nearby. Lin Feng walked in with a few people. The lobby has more than 200 square meters, and there are 8 boxes of different sizes. Lin Feng and the others asked for a small box and sat down. After ordering the food, Zhao Fei stared at Dainan's face for a long time. It was no longer the mood it used to be, there was pride and contempt, as if she was telling Dainan with her eyes that what I found was happiness, but you found it. Is just a partner, that's the difference between lucky and unlucky. The dishes are all ready. There are liquor and drinks. Lin Feng and Li Xingguo naturally wanted to drink baijiu. Dainan also proposed to drink baijiu. Zhao Fei, not to be outdone, also drank baijiu. Dainan was in charge of pouring wine. When she poured wine into Zhao Fei's wine glass, Zhao Fei gave her a contemptuous look, and then snorted coldly. Dainan's heart was very unhappy, but her smile was still bright. When Zhao Fei despised her, what she thought of was a bright future. Lin Feng raised his glass and said, "Dainan and I rented a small shop, whether it can make money or not, it is an attempt. Xingguo Zhao Fei, you two are very generous to face AI, and Dainan and I are sure good luck, come, touch one." Dainan and Li Xingguo raised their glasses happily, but Zhao Fei raised the glass lazily, as if the strength in her arms could barely lift the glass. After clinking the glasses, Lin Feng and Li Xingguo both finished, Dainan also finished, Zhao Fei only took a sip before putting down the glasses. Lin Feng and Li Xingguo chatted about the operation of this small shop. Dainan listened attentively and occasionally said a few words. Zhao Fei was very disdainful. Dainan was very annoyed and wanted to slap Zhao Fei very much, and then asked her if she was Li Xingguo's girlfriend. "So you don't know your surname?" Dainan thought of what Lin Feng said to her in the partition room, and finally suppressed the anger. After eating this meal for more than an hour, Dainan was very depressed, and tears flowed out the moment he walked out of the restaurant. Lin Feng walked beside Dainan and whispered, "Don't cry. It's not good for Li Xingguo and Zhao Fei to see your tears, especially not letting Zhao Fei see your tears." Dainan choked and said, "I don't cry," and then took out a shampoo to wipe away the tears. Li Xingguo had already walked a few meters away with his arms around Zhao Fei, and said coldly, "Zhao Fei, I warn you, don't go too far, or I'll take care of you." Zhao Fei said, "As you said, you love me very much." Li Xingguo said, "I love you, but that doesn't mean I won't take care of you. If you annoy me, I will slap you." Zhao Fei was a little scared. Li Xingguo was someone who knew kung fu. If he really beat her up, he might be very ruthless. Zhao Fei said leisurely, "Okay, I will pay attention, dear husband, even if I don't give anyone face, I will give you face." Li Xingguo then hugged Zhao Fei and walked towards Lin Feng and Dainan. Lin Feng had already guessed what Li Xingguo said to Zhao Fei just now. Went to Lin Feng's partition room together. Zhao Fei really restrained a lot. Lin Feng and Dinan sat on the bed, Li Xingguo and Zhao Fei sat on the chair. When Lin Feng and Li Xingguo lit their cigarettes and started smoking, Dinan got up and said, "Zhao Fei, I want to chat with you alone for a while. I wonder if you will give me this face." Zhao Fei was stunned. She didn't expect Dinan to make such a request. She knew that Dinan was angry and was afraid that Dinan would hit her. Dinan used to kick her with her slender legs before, which made her very painful. If she went out with Dinan, would Dinan's slender legs kick her again? Zhao Fei looked at Li Xingguo and asked him with her eyes whether she should go out and chat with Dinan alone. Li Xingguo said with a smile, "Since Dinan wants to chat with you, then you can go out with her." Dinan and Zhao Fei went out together. Dinan said, "Come on, come to my room to chat." Zhao Fei said, "Your room is two shoes to fit into your room, it's better to stand in the corridor and talk about spaciousness." Dinan said, "Zhao Fei, you just became Li Xingguo's girlfriend, you really don't need to do this, even if you are a little more brilliant than before, it is Li Xingguo's halo covering you, even Li Xingguo is very serious, Lin Feng is a friend, why are you dragging him?" Zhao Fei thought about it for a while, and she was a little unprofitable, but she didn't have a seizure, and followed Dinan to the partition room. Dinan sat on the chair, Zhao Fei sat opposite her, and they were looking at each other's faces. Dinan found that Zhao Fei's eyes were fundamentally different from before. At this time, Zhao Fei had already become a normal woman. The previous absurdity is gone, but the traces of the previous absurdity will always exist in her heart. Dinan said, "I don't want to mention the past, because the past of the two of us is absurd, but I still have to mention it today, since we have been absurd, and now we have come out of absurdity, why can't we be good friends?" Zhao Fei said, "You made me feel comfortable and painful before, but now you make me very depressed." Dinan said, "Since you and Li Xingguo got together, I have never disturbed your life, and I support you very much. I bless you from the bottom of my heart. Why does it make you depressed?" Zhao Fei said that there is no reason to be depressed. Dinan said, "Maybe this depression will gradually disappear, and then you will be willing to be good friends with me."